What's the question everyone's talking about? Should Islam be taught in public schools? One Union County parent says no. Islamic Center of Charlotte says yes. Bakari Savage live in the newsroom with what the Board of Education has to say about this. Bakari?
Eric, the district had no comment. The State Board of Education says that districts must meet certain guidelines. The material used to meet those guidelines, well, that's up to the district. Here's a copy of a page from that worksheet. Now, at issue for the parent that we talked to, this question and answer section, it says that most Muslims, quote, faith is stronger, unquote, than the average Christian. Now, the student, her child, completed that answer along with this. Islam at heart is a, quote, peaceful religion, unquote. Now, this worksheet is part of a curriculum at Porter Ridge High School in Union County. That parent who does not want her identity revealed does not agree with this curriculum. The Islamic Center of Charlotte feels that it's important to teach different religions.
A child had to describe the 5 pillars of Islam. If you can't learn the 10 Commandments, he cannot learn the 5 pillars of Islam. That's just wrong. I have chosen in my home not to teach my child these things. I don't feel it's the school's right.
I don't see this as indoctrination. I will recognize it may have a flaw or two in it. It's not perfect, but I think it's a good starting point.
And the answers on the worksheet that we received were completed by the child of that parent that we spoke with. We did contact the district for a copy of the worksheet with correct answers. That request, along with a request to interview the teacher, were not fulfilled. Paige?
Certainly a hot button topic today. Bakari Savage, thank you for that. So Matt Fleischman is an attorney with the Rosensteel Fleischman law firm in Charlotte, here to discuss this further. Everybody is talking about certainly opinions here, but also the legality of this test. Was it something that legally the teacher should have been able to give to these students? And you say it's kind of a gray area, right?
Well, it is, and so let's all take a step back. And when we were back in high school, and you learned about the Constitution, etc. So the First Amendment to the Constitution has the Establishment Clause, which basically means that the government shall not establish any religion. So with that, schools are able to teach about religion, but they can't teach religion, and that's a fine line. So you can talk about religion in a historical context, a literary context, a cultural context. What you can't do is you can't endorse a certain religion or say that a certain religion has no value, okay? So most of these questions that I read seem to be fairly benign, talking about a historical context. Some of these questions certainly would raise my eyebrow if I was reading them, and I certainly would probably counsel the teacher that you shouldn't, write some of these questions, and some of these answers are certainly, some of them are benign, and some of them certainly raise your eyebrow. But do you want, as we talked earlier, do you really want lawyers like myself in a classroom endorsing or saying don't use certain things in a classroom?
It's a good question, right? So as Bakari was saying there, the State Board of Education sets the core standards for the classes. So in other words, they say kids need to know this coming out of this. Here's the standards that they need to have reached. However, the district is what sort of approves all of the material. Is this the type of thing, I mean, are we looking at this type of thing needing to be approved word for word by a school official, by a district official before students are handed tests? Is that part of the process now?
Well, I think in these hot button issues, certainly I think the safest course of action would be to have it reviewed by somebody, see whether this is going to break the Establishment Clause, okay? Other issues, I think you're probably safe not to have to do that. But if you get into topics like religion or abortion, these are historically hot button topics, the safest course of action probably would be to have it approved.
To get it approved beforehand. Now, we've been alluding to the different questions here in terms of, you said certain things are facts. You can talk about numbers, but, the one here, number 2B, it is on the worksheet, it says most Muslims, 3 blanks, and then it goes on to say, then the average Christian. And the answer that the student filled in says faith is stronger. Certainly that is a subjective question and answer. For something like that, based on something like that, do you think parents would have a case if they wanted to go to court over this?
Yes. I mean, but what I don't know, and I don't think has been established at this point, is whether that's the student's own individual answer or is that what the teacher was basically instructing the students as the proper answer. Clearly, that's not a proper answer. I mean, it's entirely subjective, and there's no basis for it. But that hasn't been established yet.
Right, exactly. Because as Bakari mentioned, we did ask for a worksheet with the filled-in answers of what the teacher was looking for, what the correct answers were, and we have yet to receive that. So, Matt Fleischman, thank you for coming in and weighing in here.
Sure.
Eric.
Okay, on the way here, Good Day Carolinas on this Wednesday.